For me, there's four parts of the story of the Jews in Krakow. And so many visitors come and really focus on Auschwitz, which for me is part 4. It's like you're really just seeing the final chapter. But I would hardly recommend, part 1, Kazimierz, the center of the Jewish population in Krakow for centuries and centuries and centuries, up to World War II. We all know about Kazimierz, but you can really cover a lot of amazing things around Żyrowka Street and the Kazimierz area. Second area is Podgórze, the site of the ghetto. And a lot of if you look at the map of the ghetto, a lot of that, the houses and everything, the buildings are still there. There's something called the Ghetto Trail. You can walk around and then you come to Ghetto Hero Square, Eagle Pharmacy. The Nazis drove the Jews from Kazimierz to the ghetto into horrific conditions there. And then they opened this camp, which is Plaszow, which again is in Krakow, very close to Podgórze, part of Podgórze, very close to the ghetto. And this was a labor camp. So those that were able-bodied children and women were brought here from the ghetto, kind of worked to death here. And then this is now a must-see place. This is the camp that you see in Schindler's List. And I think so many people don't know about it. It's free to come here. It's free to do the tour. It's an hour plus ride out to Auschwitz. You're going to buy an expensive tour. To do that, this is free. And you walk around, and this is a really important part 3 of the story. And then, the final solution, obviously, Auschwitz, and many of the people in the camp, when they were no longer able to work, were taken to Auschwitz, including children and women. And that, as I said, part 4. So I highly recommend, if you're a World War II historian, or you're interested in the Jewish story, those are the 4. You want to cover all 4 parts. It's really the 4 chapters. Take in Eagle Pharmacy, take in Schindler's Factory. You could do it over the course of a couple of days. But my point is that Auschwitz is just a part of it. And there's so much more. If you watch Schindler's List, that's really the thing to do before you come. Schindler's List tells that story. And this camp, this is where Amon Getz, that horrible camp commander, was. This is where a lot of the movie is shot. Auschwitz is just a bit at the end. It's a really important thing to come here and see it. It's free. And they're improving it all the time. They're going to open up parts of the Grey House there. They're making this, they're doing what they should be doing here. The camp was really destroyed after the war. But the site and bits that are left here now, they're doing the proper job. And it's really vastly improved from what it was a couple of years ago. Highly recommend. Just grab an Uber. Or go to Plaszow KL's site and book an English tour or whatever language. There's other languages, I don't know how many. But there's tours, or you can do tours here from third parties still as well. Quite a lot of changes to the former Plaszow, the site of the former Plaszow concentration and labour camp here in Krakow since we last visited a couple of years ago. A lot of improvements made by the Museum of Krakow, and today I'm going to be on a tour that's actually done in English for free by the museum. Last time I came on a walkative tour with a regular Krakow guide, but this is really good now that the museum itself is offering tours in different languages. If you go on the Plaszow website, they post the details of when they're doing them. But a lot of improvements made like this, with information given around the site of the camp for those that are visually impaired. Some items to help. This is what they called the Grey House. It was a major administration building. This is one of the few bits that survived intact. After the end of the war, like Auschwitz, this site was flattened pretty much. But there's some important things remain. All visitors to Krakow tend to want to go to Auschwitz for obvious reasons, but I don't know that everybody knows there was a camp in the city very close to the ghetto in Kazimierz. This is where a lot of the residents of the ghetto were brought. And if you watch Schindler's List, it's really the story of this camp, not the story of Auschwitz. Auschwitz features at the end of that movie. But all the scenes with that German camp commander were this camp. So we got about 10 minutes before we start. They're starting us off with the map. Plaszow. This is all different from the last time that we did it. Remains from the old Jewish cemetery that was originally on part of the site, and this was a substantial building at one point in time. The rubble has been left behind. It's interesting that we filmed here a couple of years ago before all of these changes to the site. So if you're interested, you could go back and watch, because I'm really sort of pleased to say they've done a lot. They've really taken the time now to start making this sort of more formal site with more structure to it. So far, this guide from the museum is really excellent. I would definitely suggest you come on the tour with the museum for free rather than a private tour. Because this lady really knows her stuff, and it's an amazing this whole site of the camp, we learned, you know, was bigger than the size of Old Town. Think about the whole size of Old Town, Replanty. This camp was bigger than that. Right here in Krakow.
One Matseva. So when you'll be visiting, if you have a chance to visit the place, once again I strongly recommend you to walk there. We're not entering there as a group today. Where this tree in the middle is standing, there was a latrine organized for the prisoners. These white cloths made of limestone, they are shiny. We're saying about a very difficult day that people parts of Matseva, small parts. That's why in case of rain I have my own photos to show you bigger fragments of the roads which the workers had to put those matsevas. Yeah. It looked like this. This is the pavement, you know? People had to walk on that. One photo and the second. Here we have another example. Those matzevas we will see also.
I don't remember this part at all from the tour before.
Sure, and you may see this this kind of mole which is connecting. That's like a clear moving, yeah.
Now the monument. I'm leaving the tour at this point. Nature calls. It's probably like halfway through, so they're going to go all the way around the other side of the former camp and come back to where we started at the Grey House. On this opposite side of the camp, you're kind of opposite the big mall here now called Bonarka. A very developed area. But really a great improvement on what was here just a couple of years ago. A very nicely done tour now. Everywhere, just covering the camp the way that you would hope that it would be done. Very informative. Highly recommend it.